Well, this is Keith again. It's October the 27th, 2021. Accidents happen all the while in life. Life doesn't run on railway lines. It goes this way, that way. But in the end, you're left with good and bad, and what you finish up with is probably what you deserve. So, accidents happen with people. We all make mistakes. No matter how hard you try, things happen. Right, this story. In March 2002, I was still pretty fit at that time. I'd done karate for many years, road running every day, and I just set out on my daily 5-mile run and got one about 20 foot, and I got a pain in the left hand side of my bum. I thought, that's alright, I'll walk for a bit and walk it off. Well, I didn't, and it didn't go, it got worse. So I hobbled back home and finished up laying on the living room floor with both feet propped up on the settee. The pain got worse. After about an hour, Doreen phoned up the local off-duty doctor. It was a Sunday. He duly turned up and said, I think it could be a slip disc. He gave me some great big white tablets about the size of an old 2-bob piece. Didn't do anything for the pain. Nearly choked me. And the following day, excuse the coughing, Doreen got in contact with a local health practice. I was put under a Dr. Winters. Now, funnily enough, the more I recount this story to myself, the name of the doctor is either Winters or Withers. I seem to change him about willy-nilly. But I think it's Winters because I seem to remember, and this is a long, long while ago, that I remembered his name something to do with the weather. So I'm sticking with Winters. So I'm put under a Dr. Winters. But you better remember that name. I do. Well, I thought I did until I start thinking about it, and then his name keeps changing. Anyway, he said it's probably a slip disc and started treating me with tablets. All kinds of bloody tablets. Every tablet you could think of. And some that probably hadn't even been invented. Really tried hard, I thought. Well, none of it worked. And over time, I got worse and worse. The pain, can't describe. I've had pains like everyone else growing up. I'm 83. I've had lots of pains. From broken bones, when I was doing my national service. That shows you how old I am. I broke all the metatarsals in my left foot on an assault course. And I had to soldier on through that. It didn't sort of, well, that's all right, don't do nothing for the next 10 weeks. I had to go out on parade with bloody hobnail boots on, marching up and down. That was the way the army thought these metatarsals would heal. Well, that was right, they did heal. But that was a lot of pain. I've had broken bones through doing karate. I've had the normal cuts and stitches and burns and all the kinds of things that you have growing up. Trap your fingers in a car door, bloody hell, that hurts. But this pain surpassed all them 100%. The pain was so extreme, it would stop me in my tracks. I wouldn't be able to move, couldn't talk, struggled to breathe. And I mean struggled to breathe. Appalling pain. And funnily enough, the pain wasn't in my back. It was in my left leg, on the outside, about 4 or 5 inches above my ankle bone. Why? God only knows. I had a suspected slip disc in me back. But that's where my pain was. Frightening. Anyway, time went on, time dragged on. I got worse and worse. I'd now had all the kind of tablets there were. I'd had liquid Oromorph, morphine patches and morphine tablets. They did not help with the pain. In fact, the morphine patches had a pretty dire effect. They would actually stop me breathing. And I mean, not I got a bit drowsy and I sort of dozed off a bit. It weren't that. It stopped me breathing. And I'd come to gasping for breath. When I told the doctor about it, he said, stop being a wimp. I've got 90-year-old women that have these patches. They don't complain. Well, I complained, nearly bloody killed me. And the fear of dying in my sleep because I couldn't breathe, I stopped taking them. Anyway, I got worse and worse, and for the last 6 months, I'd been confined to bed, couldn't do anything. I'd lost 2.5 stone in weight and was really ill. In the end, an ambulance come and carted me off to Adam Brooks Hospital in Cambridge. There I met a man, Mr. Watts. Thank Christ I met him. He'd seen the x-rays and he said, you've got problems. Well, you know, no good telling me I've got problems. I'd had that problem, a suspected damage, 2.25 years. I knew I'd got problems. He said, hopefully I'll be able to take away that absolute excruciating pain. But all the other pain and symptoms you're going to be left with for the rest of your life. Well, the following day after the operation, he came and see me and said, it's bad. He said, it's really appalling that it's been left this long. The damage is pretty well irreparable. Your spinal cord has been pushed up against your spine for 2.25 years, and it's fused to your spine. That's why you lost the feeling and the use of your left foot. He said, I had to scrape it off your spine, and that left your nerve with a big blob of scar tissue on it. The scar tissue was so big, your nerve could not go back through the hole in your spine. I pared off as much of the scar tissue as I could, but scar tissue and nerve looked the same, so I couldn't risk cutting your nerve. So I could only take off so much, and that left it too big to go back through the hole in your spine. So we had to enlarge the hole in your spine so that this nerve could just slide through. But scar tissue regrows all the while, and one day you're going to finish up on the floor, unable to move, breathe, speak, because it's got trapped. And it'll be just the same as it was before, only instead of it being attached to your spine and trapped, it's now trapped through the hole in your spine. But as far as you're concerned, it's the same. He said there's another problem. You might not be able to wee properly, and you'll have to be fitted with a bag. Jesus Christ, I'm aghast. I'm thinking my bloody life's just finished. Then he says, also, you might not be able to get an erection anymore. That's how badly damaged your spinal nerve is. Bloody hell, I tolerated this pain for 2.25 years. I've now just been told by this specialist, Mr. Watts, I wouldn't be able to walk properly, I wouldn't be able to wee properly, probably wouldn't get an erection. You can't think that your life can change that much. but it did. When I went home, it took a long, long while, months and months and months, to get walking, moving. Remember, I hadn't done anything for 2¼ years. I struggled up. I'm lucky I lived in a little quiet village, because me walking out on the road with 2 big crutches, Christ, I was a danger to everyone, myself and every other people on the road, cars included, and horses. And it was a long time, many, many months, before I could get along reasonably. I slowly increased the distance I went, little by little, week by week, month by month. But hard times and bloody painful. Here I am now, 18, 19 years after. I'm permanently disabled. And that's official disabled, not think I've got a problem. After my operation, a top man from London come all the way out to my little village, spent 4 hours talking to me, examining me, can I do this, can I do that? And he concluded that my disability was for life. And he said, I'm writing you off. I'm writing you off for life. We don't need to assess you anymore. Your damage is forever. So, thank you very much, Dr. Winters. I'm deeply indebted to you. Now, 2¼ years from the start to when I had my operation, that man, Dr. Withers, never had me x-rayed once. He treated me blindly for 2¼ years. I could have had spinal cancer, could have had kidney cancer. He didn't know, didn't bloody well care. Give him a tablet, that'll do. Well, I'm crippled for life. You've got to ask yourself the question, is that an accident or criminal negligence? Not once in 2¼ years did that idiot have me x-rayed. Every doctor that goes through medical school, and I assume he did, they call it your local practice. Well, practice ain't a bloody good word, not for this bloke. Every doctor knows that if a slipped disc hasn't sorted itself out in 3 months, then it's got to go to hospital. Every doctor, except Dr. Winters, who knew nothing. So there you go. Accidents, criminal damage, it's one or the other. Talk to you in the next film.